is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor live stream. Guys, today we're going to be talking about 7 ways to increase your brand's awareness. So, before we dive in, though, real quick, I just want to share with you one quick little promo. I am opening enrollment for the Branding on Demand program. This is a program for small business owners, personal brands, coaches, consultants that need help with branding direction. So brand strategy, brand identity design, funnels. This is a month-to-month coaching / implementation service. So you could go and just get strategy with me, or you can leverage my team and we could build out some really cool design work for you, from ads to social media to creating micro content out of big content, sales and funnel design and architecture and build, the whole gamut. So head over to Branding on Demand right now. You see the little URL right here on the screen to learn more and to enroll. So with that said, guys, we're going to talk about 7 ways to increase your brand awareness, but we got a big question here, don't we?
Yeah. So before we dive in, Henry, what is it that you do better than anyone else in your industry for your clients?
Eat. Eat. I don't know how I stay skinny. No. In all honesty, what do I do? What do I do different, or what do I do unlike or better than anyone else? It's a really good question always. And again, this is completely subjective. Here's what I think I do better than anybody else. One is push people out of their comfort zone. 2, see things inside of people that they don't see themselves, that allows them to accelerate or live a stronger, better life than they currently are living. And when it comes to business, seeing things that they can't see and putting and spotlighting that and getting a solution for that so that they can get to where they want to be. So it's that sixth sense. I wish I could explain it, but that's truly what I think I do better than anybody else. And maybe call out people's truths. And that helps people get a better understanding of who they are and what they need to do to move forward.
Yeah, and I think that's important. So look, I mean, really, really good response to that, right? How do more people know about that then?
Well, that's increasing your brand's awareness, right? It's learning how to get out in front of the right people and becoming visible to those folks, and learning. I did not check my audio, and good thing I did, because I was on the wrong mic once again. So now we're on the right mic. Sorry, guys. It sounded a little echoey, but now you got me loud and clear now. So let's talk about this. So there's a couple different things when it comes to brand awareness, and I don't think anybody has broken it down this way before, but there's brand awareness and there's product awareness. And so what's the difference? What's the difference between brand awareness and product awareness? So brand awareness is going to be you going out there on social media or in real life and sharing your values, sharing your point of view, sharing what you really stand for.
Yeah.
That's brand awareness. Product awareness is, here's what I offer. Here's how it's going to make your life better. So there needs to be a balance between those two. Otherwise, you're going to, what's the word? You're going to burn out your audience. All right. Imagine, think of the brands that are out there right now that all they do is push product, 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 product. It's exhausting, right?
It is.
I want to know, I want more substance, right? I want to know what you stand for. You know, social equity is a big, big, big topic right now.
It is.
So we want to know where you stand. That's going to help me make a decision whether or not I want to buy from you or somebody else.
Yeah. And you know, we touched on this last year, or I'm sorry, we touched on this a few months ago, Henry, about humanizing your brand. And so I think that that's where the brand awareness part comes into play about who are the people behind the visual identity, who are the people behind the product.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you're touching on, and so yeah, there does need to be a balance. And you know, I'll admit, you know, I struggled with this for such a long time. So you helped me through that journey, continuing to help me through that journey, because I'll be honest, man, I'm a robot. when it comes to becoming visible and showing up on social media as a personal brand, I would say that initially I showed up as a robot.
Yeah, very
And so
stoic.
yeah, and so you helped me just embrace the rough edges, so to speak, and just come
Yeah.
forward and be a bit more human so that it creates that connectivity. And I think more
Yeah,
people need to do that.
I think so too. And you know, I'm coming off of a strategy session with Chris Doe. So the last hour I was with Chris, and he's helping me through some of the thoughts and issues that, I shouldn't say issues, but things that are arising in my life right now. So I'm great, you know. And we wrapped up the conversation talking about doing stuff that brings you joy in life and excluding the things that doesn't bring you joy. And there's a couple of things that I'm going to share with you today that I think is going to be a surprise to some of you. And this happened recently. I think it's been brewing for some time, and now it's finally kind of overflowing or boiling over the top. And that is me feeling internally that I am a slave to social media algorithm. That I need to produce this kind of content this way at this time, or else my business is going to fail and nobody's going to see my stuff on social media. So why do it? And this thought process has got me to the point where, like, I don't want to be on social media all the time. I don't want to be on social media as much as I used to be. Yeah, but Henry, you're so good at it. Like, you come across so natural and it looks like you really enjoy it. I enjoy it when I do it the way I want to do it. And that's what Chris kind of helped me reinforce or reminded me of. He's like, Henry, get out there and do it the way you want to do it. Yeah. Don't worry about the likes. Don't worry about the views. Don't worry about the subtitles. Don't worry about any of that shit. Just go out there and do what it is that you want to do, what brings joy to you. And that was like a little wake-up call to me, because I felt like, well, that's not an option. But it is. So I'm going to give you some ideas here on how you could create more of a personal connection with your audience the way you want to do it. So I said 7 in this, in the title, but we brought some more suggestions. And so I want to talk about how I am creating relevant content these days and how you could do something very similar that's very easy to execute. So when people come to me asking for help, I always tell them straight up, I have a process. We have to do an assessment. It's $500. Otherwise, go Google it. Okay. So if you want my help, I will sit down with you for 45 minutes to an hour, and we will really assess where you are, where you want to go, and what needs to happen in order to make that happen. Okay. So when they book that, they have to fill out a questionnaire. And I have very pertinent questions on this questionnaire. But one of the questions is, what's stopping you, holding you back? I forget the language, from achieving this right now. And some people write paragraphs. Some people just write something really punchy. And so what I do is I look at that specific answer on that questionnaire. That's where my content ideas come from. So that's where this content idea came from. This is where Monday's content idea came from. So what kind of R&D are you doing for the people that you want to serve so that you could create relevant content for them? That's number one. Okay, that's number one. And that's a really simple way of doing it. You don't need a questionnaire. You could go out and just ask a question on social media, or send an email to 5 clients that you really enjoyed and ask them what was, what they're really struggling with these days. And then boom, done.
It's not just generating top of mind awareness for your audience, but to see what's on top of mind for them.
Correct.
And for your specifically for your ideal clients. So no, I mean, I think that's a great strategy, Henry.
Yeah, great point. Great point. So let's get into a couple of other ideas to generate brand awareness. Brand awareness, right? Is podcast tours. I've hired some good agencies to get me on some really great shows, and I've hired a shitty one this year. And I saw the quality of shows that I was getting on versus the other, and I said, I have to get rid of this company. I have to go with this other company, because just the quality of conversation and the quality of entrepreneur is much different. So I decided to go with this one agency that I've been working now with for 2 years, and had some really great conversations with some really great people. And the more I get out on those shows, the more I could share my point of view, my values, and who and what I stand for. And it's going to piss a lot of people off. It's also going to bring a lot of people closer to me. So that's another way of creating more brand awareness, is getting on more shows. Who knows? The freaking podcast host could turn into a client, which has happened to me in the past. And it was a great relationship and project. So that's one. Awesome. What's another one, Awais?
So digital displays is the other one. We do this a lot for many of our clients. They go to trade shows, or they want. We've done some for clients that actually wanted billboards. For some reason that still seems to be. I don't know if it's out of ego, or if it's out of that it is actually generating some sort of awareness for them. But I have 2 clients that will still put stuff on a billboard.
Yeah, billboards are great. How about inside your brick and mortar? Say
inside, you have,
right? There's a car wash in town that has a couple big screens in their waiting area / like checkout area, and there's tons of ads that you can scroll through, and that's as simple as putting together a PowerPoint presentation with the ads on it and running that loop all day long. Like it's really simple to set up. I've seen bakeries do it. I've seen tons of businesses leverage their
another one of my clients, they actually design hotel furniture and do like interior design for all the hotels. And so most of their portfolio, we actually transitioned their portfolio from being just still photography to actual 3D walkthroughs. So we were able to capture some of that and put that on their displays in their actual, in their office. So they've got 5 or 6 different areas where they have these large 85 screen TVs that,
85
now
inch.
it's running, of course. Yeah. And
Yeah.
of course, it has their logo already on there. I mean, they take that exact same thing to their trade shows, and they're able to send that off. So I mean, another touch point there that we didn't really put here is those virtual tours
Yeah,
that they
that's a
can
great
actually send that off and say, okay, well, look, this is the work that we've done. Now you can actually interact with it without
Yeah,
ever setting foot in that hotel.
it's a great idea. It's a great idea. I love it. Another way to increase your brand awareness is through creating this omnipresence on social media, which means being on multiple platforms somewhat simultaneously. Now, this could be really cumbersome if you're a solopreneur or personal brand. We get it. That it may even sound daunting, which it is. I've done it for a long periods of time. Trying to post on each platform accordingly with the style and to natively to each, and it is it's a second job, right?
It's a cumbersome process, man.
It is. It is. So I want to share with you how I've been able to do it. And it's through human resources, first of all. Like I have a team that now does it for me. So basically what I do is I batch my weeks of content. So every Monday I set up my calendar for the week ahead, for the next week. I have my Monday podcast. I have my Monday reel or short. And what I'm doing now is I'm creating my Instagram reels, and then I'm just taking those and I'm posting them as YouTube shorts on YouTube. So there's no double work that's needed. Okay. So I go through Monday through Friday and I just lay it all out with hashtags and captions and all of that stuff. Takes me about an hour, sometimes an hour and 20 at max, right? Sometimes I'll only get to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I need to do Thursday, Friday, maybe on Tuesday morning or something like that before I start the day or whatever. So once that's all laid out, now I have a social media manager on my team that basically, if a carousel needs to be designed, it goes to the designer creates it, gives it back to the manager, and then the manager posts it or schedules it. I'm completely hands off. So the hardest part for me is creating the content ideas and telling the team what I want Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and scheduling that out. And then the distribution team makes it happen. So if you're at that point in your business where you want to pawn some of this stuff off, this is what we do in the Branding on Demand program. So client will come to me and say, listen, I have this hour-long podcast interview and I want to chop it up into a couple of different videos. Can you help me do that? Yeah, we have a level. It's called the go-getter level, and the influencer level of the Branding on Demand program that allows you to leverage my team to build all that out. So you don't have to freaking worry about it. You just give us the long form content and we'll chop it up accordingly.
I like the name of that.
Yeah, it just makes life a hell of a lot easier for you to get on with things that you need to be focusing in on and not creating a second job for you just to post content.
Yeah.
Right. So highly encourage investing in a content distribution team because it's going to take a hell of a lot of heavy lifting off of your plate. This is another one that I think you have a little bit more expertise in than I do because you do more of it than I do. Share this idea with the.
Yeah, conferences and live events. I mean, we talked a little bit about that in digital displays, but same thing. I mean, trade shows. Many of our clients still go out to trade shows and they're exhibiting, I mean, large scale. I'm talking about 20 by 20, 40 by 40 exhibits, 80 by 80 exhibits. And so their branding is all over that exhibit. And then, of course, the digital displays that are part of that exhibit. Some get even more robust than that. I mean, I mentioned how that one company takes virtual tours, but then there have been times where we've actually incorporated touch screen sort of displays where they can actually interact with a specific 3D diagram. Let's say if it's like a drill bit or something, or if it's some sort of a finishing tool for an oil and gas company. Well, now they're able to interact with that specific screen and see all different sides. And then, of course, it just continues to have that branding, and they remember that experience long after they've visited that show. And I mean, it just creates for more of a conversation long after that.
Oh,
So yeah, so I mean, that it just continues to go beyond that, right? So I mean, at conferences, I mean, there's takeaways, there's bags, there's, of course, you have all your collateral material, but think of all the promotional items that people walk away with. So
just think about I'm thinking of it as not from a someone that's setting up a display or being part of the actual conference. I'm thinking like as an attendee,
yeah,
right? You are in close proxemics to other potential clients, customers. You're sitting next to somebody. That happened to me a few years ago with Traffic and Conversion Summit. I'm sitting there, and I sit next to this kid, and I was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, I create systems inside of businesses so they can run more efficiently." And I'm like, "No shit, I need that right now." And he wound up becoming. I hired him. He was the guy that I paid 17 grand for. And he spent 90 days with me building out my internal processes and systems for me. That's so amazing. It happened literally by sitting next to somebody that, I've had that happen to me. Somebody said, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I'm in the branding and design." Said, "Oh man, we're in the process of looking for somebody to help us rebrand. And this is why we're rebranding." Boom, client done.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah, and those conversations occur all the time. I mean, this is why I frequent these trade shows, right? Just happen to be in the right place at the right time, and they're talking about, "Oh man, we're just entering in this new stage in our business, and it's been a phenomenal year, but we now we want to enter into a new market space. Yeah. How do we don't know what to do." Great, let's talk.
There you go. Another way to increase your brand awareness is through influencers and brand ambassadors. That's happening more and more and more. I was listening to a podcast this morning. They were talking about how TikTok has, I think in 3 years, they have 1 billion followers or 1 billion users, where it took like Instagram 9 years or 8 years to get 1 billion followers, users, right? Took TikTok 3 years or 4 years, whatever. But the point of the story was, because these pieces of content are going so viral so often, brands don't need to pay for advertising anymore. They could just, for a fraction of the cost, get some influencer to create some viral video, and boom, for peanuts, 2 million people seeing the damn thing.
Yeah. Add on to that. What happens every time someone publishes a TikTok video? Very small little thing. It's the watermark. Every single time. And so anytime that gets reposted, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, now you're seeing that repost with a TikTok, or on YouTube, right? So now they've incorporated their branding onto the videos that they're allowing for them to publish, and they're getting that omnipresence. So I would say that probably attributed, in addition to, of course, the influencers and the brand ambassadors that have been involved in content creation on TikTok, I would say that small little attention to detail helped them gain that momentum in such a short period of time.
That's a great point.
All right. Joe Rogan would be another one. I mean, just providing specific platform and for him to be able to, do all his podcasts on. So
Yep.
now everyone is moving towards Spotify to be
Yeah.
able to listen to his podcast.
That is
So
huge.
same thing, I mean, like he's got that such a big following. I think, what was it? He's generating about $30 million from that podcast.
That's crazy. It's awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. What about starting your own podcast? Speaking of podcasts, I mean, this is a great way. I so enjoy recording my podcast because it's so effortless. I have a team that does it for you could find companies out there. If you need somebody to help you produce the podcast, I have a resource. Just shoot me a DM or shoot it in the comments, or email me, and I will be happy to introduce you to Mike. He's been publishing my podcast since I started it 4.5 years ago. And all I have to do is record the damn podcast. And he does all the other heavy lifting for me. Right. And there are a dime a dozen these companies now, but back then there wasn't a lot of people that were doing that. So long story short,
he's got a great process.
Yeah, he's got an awesome process. So being able to do that for yourself, and now it's probably even easier to find somebody to help you produce. You probably produce it yourself if you wanted.
Yeah.
And I know some people that do that as well, but creating your own podcast is a great way to get your voice out there and control your own media, right? You could market your podcast, right? And that's going to help you tremendously get more people.
Exactly.
Here's another one, contests and giveaways. We have a client right now that's giving away, he's a meal kit company, and the offer is a chance to win 7 meals a month for an entire year for free. Just by putting in your first order. The minute you put in your first order, you're eligible to, I think there's a couple other things you got to do. Like you got to like them on Instagram, and you got to, one other thing, but other than that, you do those 3 things. And at the end of the month, there's a raffle that comes out, and boom, you could win free meal kits for the whole entire year. I thought this was huge. That's awesome. He's going to crush it with that.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Here's another one. Car wraps. All the pizza joints around here are wrapping the shit out of their cars now to increase that brand. So it's a billboard. I don't know about you in Houston, but in Jersey, they have these giant screens. They're like, I don't know.
I've seen that, yeah.
Right? And they're pulled by a trailer, and the guy just drives around.
Yeah.
Right? And I just
digital billboard. They're just walking around, or they're just running around town advertising. They've got some new thing looping through that video. So pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool stuff, man.
And last but not least,
I've been waiting for this one to show up.
I'm gonna tee this one up for you. So the last way you can increase your brand awareness is
mean tweets. Hey, no publicity is bad publicity, realistically, right? What keeps what stays on top of the headlines, what stays on top of the feed? Sometimes you have to be controversial. Sometimes you have to say something that gets people charged.
Yeah.
And obviously not something that necessarily is going to diminish the reputation of your brand in any way, or diminish the perception or the value of your brand. But don't be afraid to go out there and challenge people's assumptions. To come in and say, and again, it goes back to the whole personal branding aspect of things, or it goes back to the whole brand awareness rather than the product awareness. When you're going out there with brand awareness, you're essentially saying, this is what I stand for.
Right.
This is what I'm unwilling to compromise.
Right.
So how you weave that into something that, when you're challenging people's assumptions, you're not necessarily saying that you're not going in there with the intention to offend them, but you're going in there to offer an entirely different set of perspective.
Yeah, maybe instead of mean tweets, it's more like opinionated tweets.
Opinion.
Right, a little opinionated tweets. Like,
But there was a reason why I said mean tweets. Again, kind of the same situation, right?
yeah, put a little emphasis behind
there
it.
you go.
I'll give you a quick example of this. All right, this wasn't a mean tweet; it's more of an opinionated post. So I just posted something on Instagram literally an hour ago, and this thought has been in my mind because in my journal every morning there's a quote that pops up before I fill it out, and the quote was, "Wealth is a mindset." And I was like, "Ooh, that's powerful." And so I came across this acronym not too long ago, and the acronym is Henry. What a coincidence, right? And the acronym stands for high earner, not rich yet. High earner, not rich yet.
Creative.
When I first heard it, I chuckled and I laughed. And I was like, oh, I know a few of those people, right? Shit, I used to be one of them, right? But then I realized, what's rich mean? What's rich mean? Why does rich need to be associated with earning money? Because I know plenty of people that make 150 or less thousand a year. I know some people that make 60, 70,000 a year, and they live extremely rich lives. They're hiking, they travel, they're you could just tell they're so high on life. And then there's people that have FU money that I'll never see in a lifetime. And they're so broken emotionally and spiritually. That's all they do is bitch and moan 7 days a week. So what's rich to you? And what's enough for you to be rich every day in your life? And that's where me and Chris got into the conversation today about, dude, just do what you love to do, man, and do it with the people you love, because this life is not very long when you see the big scheme of things. And, it's not worth doing things that you don't like to do. And so the question was, or basically my caption was, you got to do you guys. You got to do you. You got to create your plan. You got to create or get clear on what makes you feel rich. Yeah. And remember this quote, and then we'll wrap this up. Warren Buffett said this in a video I was listening to not too long ago. And he said, success isn't about how much money you made. And when you get older, when he said something along the lines, he's got a hell of a sense of humor, Warren Buffett, for his age. It's so funny. He said, when you get to be my age, the amount of money you make has nothing to do with your happiness. And he said, what I gauge my success over is how many people love me before I die. So he said it cleaner. He said something along the lines of, he's like, success isn't measured by how much money you make. It's measured by how many people love you by the time that you die. And that hit me. That hit me. So that was powerful. That was powerful. So, guys, we gave you multiple ways to increase your brand awareness here, from if you're a brick and mortar, small business, local business, if you're a personal brand. I gave you some tactical stuff. We gave you some ideas to increase the touch points, because at the end of the day, out of sight is out of mind. Exactly. And if you want to increase your visibility, there's plenty of ways that you can execute this. Just dial in. You don't have to do all 7 or 8 at the same time. You do 1 or 2. See which one works best. Get that humming on its own. And then you start something else, and then you just compound that, or just find one that does really well. Like for us, it's podcasts. So I just want to triple down and quadruple down on podcasting, and I'm going to create more podcasts. I'm going to be on more podcasts, and that's going to be my brand awareness play.
Yeah.
until I'm
And
sick and tired doing it, and then I'll figure something else out.
one key takeaway here is when you have all of these touch points in place, many of them continue to live in the digital space.
Good point.
Many of them continue, even the ones that are physical assets, they're out there long after you've had an interaction with your ideal clients.
Yeah.
So now they're doing the work for you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, my question is always, how is your brand representing you in your absence?
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. So that's what should incentivize you to put out your truth, put out your story, put out your why, put out your point of view, put out your values, because that's gonna really attract people that you want to work with. And what's better than working with a bunch of people that share the same values as you? That's the way I look at it. So,
Yeah.
whew, I thought we were going to get this done in 30 minutes, but we're 6 minutes over, and I'm not complaining. But I hope you got some value out of this, guys. Drop some comments below. Make sure you subscribe. Let us know your biggest takeaway here. And we will catch you next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join us live on a podcast recording, it's every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Last but not least, guys, again, open enrollment for the Branding on Demand program. Enroll now by just hitting this URL that you see on the screen today, and pick your level of action, and we will take care of the rest for you. So have an amazing day. We'll catch you on the next one real soon. Take care.